All right. It says I'm live.
Welcome to 24 hours of animation.
And a few other things, probably, but that's the plan. What's up, everybody? How is it going? Chat's down here, so if I'm looking down here, it's because I'm trying to read your messages. Let me send this out on Discord. Oops. Bum, bum, bum. There we go. What's up? All right. Looks like it's working. That's good. That's a good sign. Turn the music down a little bit. Will the video record remain on the channel? Good question. So here's the plan. For everyone who's here, I'm going to keep repeating this over the next 2 hours, just so you know. I'm going to be live here on YouTube for the next 2 hours-ish. And then we're going to move the party, as always, over to Twitch, where I live stream twice a week normally. So if you don't usually come to my live streams, if you don't usually know that I live stream twice a week on Twitch. We do all this kind of stuff pretty regularly. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to do 2 hours here on YouTube. Now, normally, I only do 1 hour on YouTube, and I just do Q&A the whole time. We'll do plenty of that. So here's the plan. For today, we're going to do it a little bit differently. Happy New Year. For that, we're going to do lots of Q&A. I'll answer all the questions I can. I promise not to ignore any questions. Just don't spam questions. I'll get to as many as I see. But what we're going to do is we're going to do some Q&A here. We're also going to do some animation here live, which I normally save for Twitch, but we'll do a little bit on YouTube. And in about 2 hours, we're going to move this party over for the remaining 22-ish hours of the stream onto Twitch, where I normally stream. So make sure that you've clicked the links down below. All my links are below for Twitch, for Patreon, for Twitter, for Instagram, all that kind of stuff. But Twitch is the most important one for today. If you want to be a part of the whole stream, you have to also be ready to move over to Twitch when we jump over in about 2 hours. So with that said, the 2-hour record here on YouTube will remain for the period of 24 hours. It'll stay here for as long as the 24 hours is happening. But once the 24-hour stream event is over, this YouTube video that you're watching right now, this live stream that we're in, will become unlisted. So if you keep the URL, you can keep track of it, but I won't keep it public on the channel just because it's not a real video. So you'll still have access to it, but it won't just be browsable. So make sure you grab the URL if you want to keep track of it. But more importantly, you're ready to jump over to Twitch. That recording will stay there for 60 days, as usual. So that's the plan. Today, am I standing up? I am standing up. Standing desk. By the way, if you don't know already, Luna, she's here. Is it working? Yeah, it's working. She is sleeping, but she's here. Can you show the tree? The tree. Here. You can see my Shrek ears. So, what is up, everybody? What will we be animating? You know, a bunch of stuff. I'm not entirely sure because I want to have some choice for you guys. I'm going to leave the choosing until we get to Twitch, because that's where we have all kinds of fun tools. I have polls I can do. We have all kinds of emotes and fun stuff. So I'm gonna do some animation here on the YouTube stream for the next hour or two. And we'll probably start with some basic stuff. We won't do anything too crazy. But I want to give you a little bit of a flavor of what's to come. But in the 24 hours, the remaining 24 hours over on Twitch, we'll do more robust animations. But for a little bit, I just want to hang out, just chill. Answer some questions. How's it going, everybody? How you doing? How's 2021 treating you? Hopefully better than 2020 ever did. 2020 is like a bad ex. We're just gonna forget about it. We're gonna move on. Can we see bird? I don't have a bird. I have no bird. This is my cat. Let's see. Ever tried 2D animation? A little bit. I've been playing with it a little bit recently. I would like to get into it. Nope, my dad's here. Ever tried Cascadeur? I have not gotten a chance yet, but I want to, and I'm going to make a video about it. Probably in the next month or two. I've had that question a lot. Do you have any conversation topics prepared or just animating and taking questions? I have some stuff prepared. Nothing too crazy, but usually I like to keep it organic, so I don't like to have it too planned. What software is the best for someone that has no experience in animation? So I'm going to get this question a lot. Hold on a second. There's somebody trying to spam, and I'm going to put them in timeout. There we go. If you spam, I will time you out, and if you really spam, I'll just block you. So be nice. All right. I'm gonna get this question a lot, so I want to address this early. Maya versus, excuse me here.
Maya versus Blender.
I get this question all the time, and I want to address it real quick. It's gonna keep coming up, I'm sure, as people keep popping in. New people are gonna come and ask the same question, and I wanna start off early with everyone who's here. You get the first run of this question. Maya versus Blender. What software is best? Which software should you learn? Da 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 da. There's a million ways to ask it, right? The thing everybody always wants me to say is which software is better, and everyone has their opinion. But here's the answer, right? Every software has different uses, different tools, different abilities. Some of them are free, some of them are not free. Some of them are used in certain places and others are not. It doesn't really matter. None of that matters. The point of any software application, any tool, is that it is a tool. It is about you, the artist, and what you can create, not about the software. Now, the software can make it easier for you. It can make it harder for you. It can enable you to do new things. It can do all kinds of stuff. But at the end of the day, most professional artists use a variety of tools. And it is in your best interest to be open to being willing to try as many tools as you can to find the right blend for you. So personally, I love Maya. I love Blender. I think Cinema 4D is amazing. I think Houdini is incredible. So many different applications, so useful in so many different ways. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of 3ds Max. That doesn't mean it's a bad software. I just don't like to use it because I'm not very comfortable at it. I'm not very good at it. And I don't really have a reason to need to learn it at this time. But if I had to, I would, and I wouldn't complain about it. Every software is good, and just let people like what software they want to like. So there's not a need to say which one's better. It doesn't really matter. It's what you do with it. So, Maya has some tools that Blender doesn't, and Blender has some stuff that Maya doesn't do as well. And that's okay. Let them be competitive. Let them, try to outshine each other in different categories, because that leads to just better tools for everybody. No professional artist uses one tool and one tool only and is closed off to any possibility of learning other things. It's not a thing. It's not a healthy lifestyle. So be open to all software, be open to learning new things, and that's that. So that answers that question. All right, Etch-a-Sketch, best software. How was animation when you first started? When I first started learning animation, there was no online resources except for like the schools. There were no content channels and things like that. So it's great now. It's much better now. Thoughts on directing a community animation project through your Discord? I think it'd be a lot of fun. It would just be really hard to get people to commit and then actually do it because people have lives. So I don't know. I've thought about it though. What is your favorite free character rig? I don't know. A lot of character rigs are really great, and a lot of them are not expensive. So like I've been using Apollo a lot. I think he's like 15 or 20 or I think he's like $25 or something. He's not free, but I really like him. There's some really great ones. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. I have a ton of different rigs to play with today. We'll get to that as well. Would you like to create a challenge for the new year between you and us? Well, I'll probably come up with some challenges for some stuff soon, but off the top of my head, I don't know. I'd love to. What should I select? Modeling, animation, or texturing? Whichever one you enjoy more. You should try all three and practice them and test them out and see what you like. Pick the one you like the most. Don't pick the one that you think you should pick. There will be jobs in all of them. Let's see. Have you tried the Zelda rig for Blender? I haven't tried it for Blender yet. I have not. I'd like to. I haven't gotten around to it yet. How do I find an animator to do stuff for me? Games industry. Hire them. Get some money, save up if you have to, but create a project outline, a professional pitch of what it is you need, the deliverables, the timeline, the revisions that you expect, all that stuff. Figure it out like a real job and pay it like a real job, like a real gig. You can't just go get artists to work on stuff because it's your passion project and you want everyone to get on board and like work with you on it. Like, no, pay people for their work and for their time. Do you like modeling in 3D? I don't really like modeling. It's not my thing. When people do it really well, it's astounding and it's amazing, but it's not my thing. I'm not good at it. Have you gotten the Patreon stuff rolling? And if so, how's it going? Because I haven't been around as of late. Oh, hey. yeah, I've been changing some of the Patreon stuff, and I have quite a bit of it up. I'm launching a little bit more this month, but yes, there's quite a bit of cool stuff on the Patreon. Which, just a brief mention real quick, if anyone here is looking for regular feedback on animation from me specifically, because obviously there's my Discord where you can get feedback from anybody in the Discord, which is a great community. And then there's like Agora, for example, if you want to just like buy a one-off review or something, which I've talked about in other recent videos. But if anyone's looking for the experience of dailies, a weekly dailies where everyone can submit their work, or if you can just show up and like learn if you don't have anything to share this week, a weekly dailies to get some animation feedback, that is something I'm now offering on my Patreon, and there is a sale on it, basically. It's a lower price than it's going to be in the future today only, or the 24 hours of this stream only. Once the 24 hours are up, I'm changing it back to its higher tier cost. So if you're interested in that, now's the time to jump in on that, down on my Patreon, link below. Have you tried Houdini? I love Houdini. I just bought a class or two for Houdini, and I've been doing it every now and then. I'll probably do some on this stream, and if you know Houdini, I could use some help when we get to that. But I'm very excited to be learning it. It's very cool. Companies like Disney or Dreamworks for animation, are they using Mocap? No. They don't use Mocap for the animation. They use it for shot blocking, for layout, for like camera stuff. And I think they might use it for some crowds. Well, no, I don't think so. They do hand-keyed crowds. They probably do it as like filler crowds. My guess, I don't know. I'm assuming they would use it as like, oh, we need to just like test something for the pipeline. They might do some mocap just to like have some data in there, but then they're gonna redo it hand key. That's how at least that's my guess. I don't know for sure, but I know they don't do any of the hero animation, like the main animation of the movie. None of that comes from mocap. Do you think they should make Shrek 5? I'm not an executive at Dreamworks. Nice to see some recognizable names in here. How's everyone doing? How's it going? What's up, Cade? Let's see. Any tips for new Animation Mentor students? Yeah, any new Animation Mentor students. By the way, if anyone signs up for Animation Mentor, tell them I sent you. If I did indeed send you. Thank you. Yeah, something that you should do if you're starting at Animation Mentor or any online animation school for that matter is really try to put in the time. Like, don't procrastinate until the last day. I mean, I'm going to say this and you're going to do it anyway, but don't procrastinate till the last day on your work. Try to do stuff all through the week. Talk to your classmates, be involved. Don't ever use the excuse of, oh, I didn't really have time to do my assignment this week because X, Y, and Z. Some people have a valid excuse for why they couldn't get it done. That, like, life happens and sometimes it makes sense. But if it wasn't like really, like, there's always somebody in your class who has it like harder than you to like get the stuff done, and they're getting it done. So like, oh, you know, like if you watched any Netflix, if you watched any Disney Plus, now, not to, two quick trains of thought. If you're an animation student, online or in regular school, if you're an animation student, if you're a student of anything, and you're like not getting your work done, and you're like, well, I didn't really have time. Did you actually not have time? Because you work 3 jobs, English is your second language, that you're learning on the side, you've got kids, and like your car broke down yesterday, like, did you really didn't have time? Or did you oversleep 2 days of the week, watch a bunch of Netflix, binge watch this other show, and then, you know, go out for, I guess you can't really go out right now, but you get what I'm saying, right? And there is a balance to be struck with mental health. Like, don't just try to burn yourself out or anything, but, you know, be honest about it. Be honest with yourself. You know, if you're like, instead of, oh, I didn't have time this week, it's like, I didn't properly allocate or manage my time this week. That's fair. So try to do better next week. But I think just really take advantage of the community aspect. If you are starting an Animation Mentor, really try to be a part of the community, talk to people, make friends, and become a collaborator. That's one of the best things you can do. Let's see, can I make a video about this? Video about, what was I talking about? I don't remember what I was talking about when you said that. Let's see, sorry. And by the way, if I skip your question, I'm not like ignoring anybody. It's just that the chat's like doing this on my screen. I'm trying to keep up. So every time I look down, I just pick a question that I see. So don't spam your question just because then I won't want to answer it. But if I miss it and it goes away, feel free to drop it again. Just, you know, don't just keep spamming. But yeah, feel free. Like if I miss it, I'm not ignoring anybody. I'm just trying to catch up. Do I have coffee? No, I don't drink coffee. Is animation easier than Maya than any other software? I don't know if I'd say it's easier, but there's definitely more resources, tools, and rigs at the moment for Maya. Tell about animation and gaming. I don't have a lot of experience with animating for games, but there's a YouTube channel you should check out if you're curious about creating animation for games. New Frame Plus. Look that up on YouTube in a separate tab or separate window. That is a fantastic YouTube channel. Will you make a video on Houdini? Once I get to the point that I know Houdini, sure. Would you be interested in trying Source Filmmaker? I am planning on trying it. Interest in Unreal Engine. I have a lot of interest. Most of these softwares I want to try or want to learn, and it's just a matter of setting time aside to do those things. Because right now, I don't. But I'm hoping soon. Who's your favorite How to Train Your Dragon character? Toothless. How many friends do you have? I don't know. A couple really good friends. I don't know. I have a small group of good friends, I guess, is what I would say. Let's see. Do you play PC games? Yes. Have you tried game development? Not really. I'd like to. What do you think is the future of Blender? Will it die or will it take over? Blender's not gonna die. Blender's doing great. And I don't know if it's necessarily gonna like take over anything, but Blender's gonna keep thriving and doing great stuff, and we love to see it. You seem like a sensible and put together guy, but no sane man would animate for 24 hours. Well, that's because
I'm not sane.
let's see. Do you know any good characters for Blender? The Rain rig from the Blender Cloud. And I imagine the Zelda rig's probably solid. Besides that, I'm not sure. I don't mess enough with Blender rigs yet to know the answer to that. How do you manage time management? I have a video on time management. It is an interview with Guillermo Carriega. Try not to say his name wrong. Guillermo's fantastic. He's a super nice guy, very talented animator, works at Dreamworks. Is from Paraguay. And he did an interview with me a few years ago at Dreamworks on time management and his techniques. And so I've used a lot of his techniques over the years. Fantastic video. It's older on my channel, but you should absolutely go watch it because it's gonna help a lot with that. And he makes cool stuff anyway, so you should go follow Guillermo wherever he is on his stuff. Which one is better for VFX, After Effects or Blender/Maya? For visual effects, it's tricky because like they're different, you know. Like if you wanted to do visual effects in Maya, what you would probably do is do a bunch of 3D stuff and then export it and then bring it into something like After Effects or Nuke. Where in Blender, you can do a little bit more compositing inside of Blender itself. So like, they're different. But After Effects is incredible and it's an essential tool for visual effects. You're gonna pretty much have to have it. Blender can do some really cool stuff in it as well, and you can also use Maya for stuff, you know? How to get a job in 2021 in VFX. I have a video on demo reels. Maybe that'll give you some good tips. Straight ahead to pose to pose. Depends on the shot and your workflow. There's not a right or wrong answer. Don't let anyone tell you that you have to do it one or the other way. Let's see. Have you seen animations of the Toy Story Challenge? I actually haven't seen any yet. No. Let's see. What do you think of Element 3D? I love Element 3D. Show the cat? You got it. Hi. Oh, hi. What you doing? What you doing? Yeah, you sleeping? He's having a good nap. Oh, thank you. Let's see. I'm a professional working in the industry. I really appreciate your videos. Oh, thank you. Thank you for watching. By the way, thank you everyone for being here. Thanks for coming. As a quick reminder, because I don't know who was here when I last said this, but we definitely have more people now than we did at the time. For anyone who doesn't know the drill today, if you are not aware that I usually do live streams twice a week, I usually do live streams twice a week over on Twitch, link below. The YouTube stream that we're doing right now is something I very rarely do to kick off a 24-hour stream, which is what we're doing. So in about probably like an hour and 20 minutes-ish, a little bit, about an hour and a half. In about an hour and a half, we are going to move this party over to Twitch for the remainder of the stream. So make sure you are clicking on the Twitch link below and following it, being ready to jump ship over to Twitch when we're there. Also all my other links are down below as well, Patreon and everything else. Which also, if you didn't know that I have Spline merch, fun animation apparel, this is my sweatshirt. Comes in a bunch of colors. There's also t-shirts, so if you like the splines, kind of come on the bottom of the stream, there you go. Link below for that. Almost missed. What was it? There's one more thing. Oh, hi! Also, I think I might jump into Maya in just a minute to do a little bit of animation while we're on YouTube. I usually save the animation for Twitch, but today I'm doing a little bit longer on YouTube than I normally do to get more people to learn about the Twitch. Hi! Oh, hello! You're so cute! Hello! Mwah. She missed me. Hello! Do you get enough sleep? I won't be sleeping tonight. Yeah, for anyone who's wondering, like 24-hour streams doesn't mean I sleep in the middle of them. Like I'm up the full 24 hours. You ever consider growing a beard? Doesn't look good on me. Let's see. What do you think about animating the root control of a rig? Are there times it is appropriate? Pretty much no. It's pretty much never the move. The root control of a character being that big main controller that kind of moves them around, that is not for animation. That is for layout. That is for you to place the character in the scene, orient them in the direction that they're going to be primarily moving through the scene, and scaling and that kind of stuff. You don't animate it. You may think like, oh, I'll move the character and then I'll do the legs in place. Like, don't do it. Don't do it. It limits your flexibility. It limits so much of what you can do. And like, there's tools that can help you. Like if you did that on accident somehow, or like you didn't know that, and then you need to like backtrack, there's tools to help with that, like Animbot, but don't do it. Don't animate the root. Hey Marissa, you like Twitch or YouTube better now for live? I still enjoy Twitch for live streams. Because so if anyone here is considering like, should I want to live stream? Should I live stream on Twitch? Should I live stream on YouTube? I think Twitch has a more fun community for live streaming in general, because like, look at the chat. It's fun, there's a lot of cool stuff here, but like all our emotes are missing and all the fun, like, I don't know, on-screen flair is not happening. So, and I know you can do like alerts and stuff on YouTube, but like, I don't know. I think Twitch has a few more gamification tools that are fun. However, that said, we have some pretty high viewership here on YouTube, and as soon as I move to Twitch, we're gonna drop in viewers. But, oh well. Let's see. Do you have any Maya animation class? So actually, yes. If anybody's been wondering about like animation classes, I am actively working on a few different projects. I'm working on a Maya class specifically, a Maya animation class, which you'll hear more about soonish. That's a really cool like separate thing that I'll get to another time. But on my stuff, so there's like the Maya animation classes, but I'm also working on some animation courses. Some specifically for animators, regardless of the software you're using, animation courses covering everything from the very basics through a good kind of intermediate level. And I'm working on a few different courses. So if you're interested in that, probably the best way to keep an eye on that is to follow my Patreon. You don't have to like, pledge to it financially or anything, because that's what Patreon's for. It's for supporting creators. But you just hit the follow button. You might have to make an account or something, but if you just hit the follow button, that's where I'll be posting the updates, because this month I'm going to start the creation of the animation courses. I will be recording and editing and putting together curriculums and everything that around the animation courses. Those will be beginning this month. Now it's going to be a bit before they're finished. So what I'm going to be doing is I will be building them up and creating them, and I will be releasing pieces of them, little snippets and samples and things like that for feedback and such on my Patreon. And if you are interested in that, the best way right now to be a part of that is to join on my Patreon. There's a Studio Dailies category where you can get feedback on your work and that kind of, like there's other stuff you get, but I will be doing some cool stuff there. let's see. How can I improve my animation timing? Whoops, I lost the rest of it. It scrolled away. How many frames per each thing? How many frames per each thing is completely, like, there's not an answer to that. It always depends. But how do you improve your timing? A good way to improve your timing, I think, timing's a tricky one. It's hard to teach. It's tricky to learn, just because it's hard to conceptualize. A good way to do timing, maybe, is like, well, here's a very basic example. If you had a shot, you were animating a character doing three things. They were pointing this way, and then looking at the camera, and it's like da, da, da. What you should do is, film your reference, do your planning, do all that stuff, but to make sure your timing's not boring, you should probably kind of plot it out on a timeline graph. Like if you go like frame 1, frame 10, and frame 20. Bum, 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 da, da, da. Very even. You don't want that. That's timing, that's boring timing. And so what you can do is you can plot it out on the graph and go like, okay, it's frame 1, frame 10, frame 20. Like, oh, those are all evenly spaced. That's even timing. Whoops, I should shift one of these. So it's bum, 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 or bum, 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 right? You want to adjust things. And your shot overall, will hopefully have more than like 3 little beats of something happening. But I mean, that's an easy way. I mean, not easy way. That's a very simple way to look at timing. But consider music. Like if you're like, how should I time my shot? Just as a fun exercise, maybe take your favorite song at the moment and like take the part of your song, pick part of the song that you like that's really dynamic and fun, and try to figure out like, what's the timing of the music? Like, where do things change? Like, where do things happen in the music? And then kind of like time that out and then try to match your animation to it, just for fun. Just see if that'll like help force you into a different timing or something. Let's see. I'm making a demo reel for Riot Games. Do you have any suggestions on what to include? I put some new walking, running cycles and some body mechanics. I mean, to be honest, like I don't have a ton of experience with games. There'd be a few people over on Twitch you might be better off asking who work in games, but I think mechanics are essential. Anything where you can, I have a video on demo reels as well, but if you have an opportunity to combine different things into one shot, like for example, having a walk cycle and then it cuts to a run cycle is not going to be as interesting as if you have a character standing, they move into a walk, they break into a run, they stop, they go back into a run, they move down into a walk, and then they stop. Like if you have that transition process, that might be really interesting because in games, you're going to be animating a run cycle, a walk cycle, transitions, stopping. Like you're going to have these moments of like inflection between actions. So showing all of that in one shot versus cutting between the different cycles, but you can blend them together, is going to show them that you can do all of that. That might be a good way to think about, how to show your body mechanics in an interesting way. And then there's the mechanics side, and then there's the acting side. And so if you want to have some acting stuff, you could do that too, where you could have a character, running, stopping, and then like they like do something with thought process, like, oh, like they're suspicious, and then they like go into a sneak. I don't know. Try to blend some character thought in with those transitions. How do you generate a solid story idea for a 2-minute animated short? And do you know what's good? Probably lots of feedback is a good way to do it. A good story idea. I mean, it's a good question. I'm trying to think of like the best way to answer it, because I'm not a story artist. Like I don't do a lot of story stuff, like 2-minute short form stuff. But I would say, you need to have a conflict, or at least something that, like, it needs to be something that happens. There needs to be a point to it, a setup and a payoff, or like something you introduce that like matters. It has to do something and happen with a consequence. Like there should be some sort of stakes, some sort of a general feeling of like, oh, something needs to happen, or else something bad or something else will happen. There's a goal in mind. You know what I mean? Like you need to have these little pieces. I'm not the best person to answer story questions. We can dive into it deeper later for sure, but hopefully some of that's helpful. Any tips on getting an animation internship? Well, what kind of, are we talking about like demo reel stuff? Talking about like interviewing stuff, resumes? I have a video on demo reels, which is why I'm not diving too deep into demo reel stuff, because I have a whole video on it, which you should watch if you haven't already. But if you're looking to get an animation internship, go watch the demo reel video And also go watch the more recent video that was the like building a portfolio online. The one where like the thumbnail's like me like this and it's like all the different social media logos like ArtStation and LinkedIn and Instagram. That video. That's a good one. Hopefully that's helpful, unless there's something more specific here in mind. What for are you using Blender now? Lately, what has it been lately? What have I been doing with Blender? I've just been like experimenting with stuff. Just like playing around, like learning the tools, and like I haven't really been doing anything specific. I'll probably do some specific stuff in the next month or two. That's kind of what I'm hoping to do for some YouTube stuff, but lately it's just been like exploring, nothing too crazy. I'd like to do some 2D animation in Blender. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Let's see. How do you find motivation to work during the holidays? Struggling with it. There's nothing that says you have to work during the holidays. You can just relax, enjoy the holidays, take a break, take a breather, let yourself recharge. If you want to be motivated to work during the holidays, you should only do that if like you need to be for some reason, or if you want to be. Like if you want to be motivated and then you are motivated, then go for it. But if you're like, I'm not motivated, then just take a break, enjoy the holidays. Then they come around this time of year. Oh, that's a big fancy yellow box. Archelaos, is that how you say that name? Archelaos, thank you for all your content. I'm a 3D artist, but not an animator, and your content has been a super interesting dip into it. Best luck in the new year. Thank you, and thank you for the $10 donation. That's very nice of you. Is that a super chat? That's super chat, right? Thank you. I appreciate it, and I'm super glad this stuff is like fun to watch for you. I always worried about that when I first started the YouTube channel. It was all very animation focused, and people would comment and be like, "Is this only for animators?" I'm like, "Well, I'd like it to be for anybody." I like anybody to be able to like watch and be excited and inspired, and I don't know. So I'm glad you like it. Thank you. Custom rig or auto rig? I mean, if I were to get something rigged, I'd want it to be custom rigged for sure. But if I'm going to be rigging something, I'm not about to do all that work. I'm not a rigger. Welcome to YouTube streaming. Well, so again, just a quick reminder for everybody. I don't stream on YouTube very regularly. This is the kickoff to a 24-hour stream. The majority of the stream will be taking place on Twitch, so make sure you're clicking that Twitch link below because we're gonna move this party over to Twitch in about an hour. Freaking stream when? Marissa, how dare you?
How dare you?
How long should a fresher animator's demo reel be? Fresher as in like beginner, right? It should, go watch my demo reel video. It'll answer all your questions. If anyone has questions about demo reels and you haven't watched my video on demo reels, the thumbnail has me in a suit and it says like how to get hired or something like that. Go watch that video. I saw someone say 6 time asking and then it disappeared. I don't know what's going on. Have you ever done stop motion? Not really. It's very impressive though when people do that. Let's see. The chat is moving so quickly. It's so hard to like catch messages. I got the Animator Survival Guide. I think it's really important. Yeah, if anyone's looking for like fun animation books in 2021, you're like, I want to find some animation books, I want to learn stuff. In my description, I have a link to my recommended books list. There's a link. It takes you to Amazon, my list of books. They're all affiliate links, so I get a small commission, but it doesn't change the price for you, so hey, that's good. What do you think of Andy's Primal? I haven't seen Primal yet. I really want to. I have not done it. All right, this person keeps trying to plug their own stuff. That is called spam. So stop that. And YouTube keeps flagging it for me. Oh, and it puts you in timeout apparently. Girlfriend got me Animator Survival Guide and the Game Anim book, so we're reading this. Oh, that's awesome. I think there's even a new Game Anim book, if I remember right. I gotta look into that. I need tips on how to improve posing. Drawovers, I think, would be a good one. Even if you can't really draw, but like, if you're trying to pose a character, hopefully you're going based on reference, something on real life. You're trying to analyze what about it makes it that pose. You try to pose it, screenshot it, lower the opacity or something, and then draw on top of it. figure out like what would make it stronger and then bring it back to 3D. Could you do a review on the free Elsa rig? I think JD already did a review of the Elsa rig. I don't even think I've downloaded the Elsa rig. It looks really nice, I just haven't. I never saw the download link, so I never got around to downloading it. But I think JD has one on that. Any ideas on the 3060? I don't have any information on the new graphics cards. Could you do a review of Luna? 11 out of 10. Perfection. Any audio tips for short animation especially? Audio tips? Are you using a mic? Yes, I have a microphone up here. What kind of audio tips? What do you mean, like for acting shots or for something else? Do you use ZBrush? No, I don't do a lot of modeling. What did you think of Soul? I loved Soul. I watched it last night because I wanted to have watched it before the stream. Fantastic. Loved it. Not going to spoil anything, so we're not going to really discuss it in depth. In terms of music. Audio tips in terms of music. I'm not sure what you're asking. Music for animation. It sounds like you're asking for like tips on the music. Like, are you recording the music, or are you just like wondering how to like deal with it? No dialogue animation. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, pick something that is nice to listen to, and then find something visually that pulls out the details of the music that you want to accentuate with your animation. I guess that would be my go-to. I don't know if that's helpful. What are your thoughts on Onward? I really liked Onward. I liked it a lot. I did a whole video on Onward. So if you haven't seen that, I did a whole video analyzing it and showing cool details of it. Do a collab with the Blender Guru. He makes great stuff. I don't really know what I would have to offer him though. I don't know what I would do for him. He seems like he's doing good. If he needed something that I could help him with, then I'd be down, but that's the thing with collabs. A lot of people are always like, oh, collabs, that's the thing. It's like, well, two people have to both have something interesting to contribute to make it like good. And I don't know what I would do in that case anyway. Let's see. Hey, I'm new here and your tips about Maya have been really helping with my college coursework. I'm glad. Thank you for watching. I'm curious, how many people here, if you found me through like Maya tutorials, or that's what you mainly watch, if you mainly watch like Maya tutorials, animation tips and tricks for your college courses, for your animation schools, for any of that kind of stuff, type a 1 in chat. If that's like the main thing you kind of found me from and stuck around for in the beginning, type a 1 in chat if that's how you got involved. And if you showed up wow, a lot of people. If you mainly showed up due to the Blender content, put a 3 in chat. If you showed up for Blender and that's kind of how you found me, then a 3. I want to see the ratio here. How to make lighting better? Oh, wow. Have you heard of Rooster Teeth? I have. Yeah, Mercy, you've been OG. All right, we have a fun mix of people. It's funny, I see some names that I remember. Some of the familiar names and other names that are newer. So, welcome everybody. All right, so we've got about an hour or so until I move over to Twitch. So, I think we'll do some animation for a minute. How do you actually use your walk cycle? How to make the character move without using the root bone? You take the hips. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do a quick walk. Let's at least attempt to, let's see how far we get. Let's do some walk cycle stuff. What do you think? Let's see. Let me grab a rig. We'll use Stuart. Well, I used Stuart in the last 24-hour stream, but he's so easy. I know you don't see anything yet. I'm still looking for what I want to use. Yeah, I guess, I mean, it's easy. That's easy. We'll just use the Stuart rig. So give me a second. Let me go ahead and load them up. Bum, 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 bum. Let's do it. Okay. Let me get this all pulled up. One moment. I'll answer a few other questions real quick. We're doing 24 hours without sleep. You know it. Gotta keep it interesting. Let's see. Fix some rendering settings. I know you can't see my screen yet. I will share it with you in a second. Get some anti-aliasing up in here. All right, there we go. Let's see. The cat is so cute, thank you. Her name is Luna. She's adorable. She's the queen of the stream. But she has her own camera. Where to get an animation critique? If you are looking to get an animation critique, I would tell you four options. If you're looking for an animation critique, obviously you can just post it on the internet like Twitter or something and go for it. And you might get some, you might not, who knows? My Discord, a free place where there's like 7,000 artists in there of varying skill levels and places along their journey. So my Discord's a great place to get feedback. There's a channel specifically for it. Agora community, I did a video on that recently. They have reviews that you can buy, that you can pay for stuff. I'm a reviewer on there, there's other people who are. And if you're looking specifically for a review from me, then I would recommend on my Patreon, I've just launched a new thing called the Sir Wade Studio Dailies, where we're doing weekly dailies where you can submit your work weekly or can just participate in the conversation and come like be a part of it, like at a studio where artists share their work. And at the studios, it's like every day there's dailies and you get feedback from the director, from the supervisor, from the people involved. And so if you want to be a part of that kind of a thing, I've created that over on my Patreon. We do it through Zoom and it starts this month. So if you want to be a part of the dailies, submit your work or be a part of other people's stuff, that's a link down on my Patreon. Also, it's on sale. It doesn't say it on the website, but it is a cheaper price right now than it is going to be going forward after this 24-hour stream is over. So now's the time. So you have lots of options. What is anti-aliasing? It just cleans up the pixely edges of stuff. Do you have a video that breaks down the different types of roles in the animation pipeline? Not yet, but there is a video about that kind of thing. It's got like the Dreamworks penguins in it, but I'll be doing a video on that soon, excuse me. All right. Now, I know some of you are gonna say,
Hey, that's not Blender.
What are you doing? That's not Blender. Why aren't we using Blender? That's not 3ds Max. Why aren't we using that? Why are we using Maya of all tools?
everyone always wants me to use the different software. Like, I can't make everybody happy. I'm most comfortable animating in Maya. I do most of my animation in Maya. I will be learning Blender. We'll do some Blender during the stream, but right now, we're gonna be doing animation in Maya. Now, if you use Blender and you're like, oh man,
that doesn't help me at all.
It will, because all the same stuff we're gonna do here, you can just use over in Blender. Like, it's about the animation, the craft of animation, the principles of animation, the workflow. It's not about the software. It's not about the tool. You could do this in 2D, you can do this in 3D, you can do this in stop motion, but with a very different workflow. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And we're also not going to discuss the pros and cons of software. I've already addressed this, and I will address it continuously during the stream, I'm sure. All software is good software. I mean, well, that might be a little bit of a strong statement to say, but every software has a use, and all the software that we care about is useful to different people in different ways, so we're not gonna worry too much about it. All right, oh, I just realized the cat cam is gone. Let me fix that. There she is. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. I am done with the software wars. They're silly. All right, everybody. So this here, I'll actually, one sec before we jump into this. Here's the deal. Here's my Cintiq. I animate on a tablet, in case anyone wants to know. I animate on a tablet. This is here. And we are going to spend the next 1 hour on YouTube. And then we're gonna move over to Twitch for the remaining, it'll be 22 hours at the time, all right? So at around the 22-hour mark, we are going to move this ship over to Twitch. So make sure you're clicking that link in the description below to follow on Twitch and be ready for that. Or if you want to like come back later, I'll be on Twitch. I won't be on YouTube. So that is the deal. We are going to do some animation. And yeah, feel free to keep asking questions. I will try my best to read as I work, but I'm gonna, of course, miss things because the chat's moving so quick. If I'm looking over here, I'll miss things, I'll come back. We'll do our best, all right? Curious, why not YouTube? I like the community on Twitch. YouTube, this just feels like we don't have all, like Twitch has like more emotes and fun stuff, and Twitch just a little bit more of a game to me. It's kind of more fun in the way you stream. However, my viewership on YouTube is always higher. That's the downside of Twitch. I mean, which kind of makes sense because I've got like almost 140,000 subscribers on YouTube. Or on Twitch, I think we're up to 11,000 followers. So, you know, kind of makes sense why it's higher on YouTube. Anyway, Happy New Year. Let's do it. Let's just see what we can do for a walk cycle. Now, let me give you guys a choice. Let me give you a quick choice here. If you would like, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna give you a vote. Be ready to vote. I'm gonna have you type a 1 or a 2, but let me say what it is first, all right? If you would like me to just work on a walk cycle and just do it and just kind of answer questions here and there, and just kind of just focus in and do the work, less educational, probably more progress over a quicker time period, you can type a 1 in the chat. But don't vote yet and stop spamming. I see you spamming that. Keep spamming and I'll just mute you. Or number 2, you guys haven't even heard the second one. So just pause for a second. That is my cat, yes. Or number 2, I will explain what I'm doing as I go, and I will do more of kind of a educational walkthrough of the walk. So if you want me to just run through it, type a 1. If you want me to explain it as I go, type a 2. I'm seeing a lot more 2s than I'm seeing 1s. Oh, YouTube is starting to flag 1s and 2s. If anybody's like typing it and your message is being held for review, don't worry. It's literally just YouTube being like, there's a lot of 1s and 2s. Some of these might be spam, and I'm seeing a notification on my end, so don't worry about it. All right, we're all good. I'm gonna do the educational one. So we can stop voting. I'm worried people are gonna get like timed out by YouTube. Can I get this? Oh yeah, if you want to rewatch this video after if you want to rewatch this video after, you should grab the URL and save it, bookmark it, do something like that. This YouTube experience here, this 2 hours of YouTube that we're doing, this will be visible on my YouTube channel during the 24-hour window of the stream. But as soon as the live stream is over, the animation 24 hours is over, this video becomes unlisted, which means if you have the link to it, you can still find it. Otherwise, you will not be able to find it anymore. So save the link if you want it. Are you going to be using Blender this stream? Yes. Not now, but yes. All right, we're done voting officially. Let's go ahead and do some animation. So I saw a few people chiming in on this. What we can do here is generally what I do is I do an in-place walk cycle. I just do like a cycle in place. What's up, Alice? How you doing? Welcome in. If I save it to watch later, will it still show up? I think so. If you put it in your watch later, I think it'll still be here. So here's what I normally do. Normally, I just put the character in place for streams like this, and we just do the cycle in place, and the character just loops. But let's mix it up today. Let's go ahead and just try doing a walkthrough space, because I think a lot of people have been asking for that lately, and I think it'd be fun to do. And if what we're about to do here is exciting to you at all, and you're like, this is great, this is what I've been waiting for, don't forget that I do this twice a week on Twitch every week. So if you are not familiar with my Twitch channel. Link below. That's where we're going in about an hour. All right. How long have you been using Maya? I've been using Maya for like 9 years. So the first thing I do before I do anything, I set up the shot and I set up my character. You know what? Actually, I should record what I'm about to do just in case. Let's see. 1 second. Let me go ahead and just fix something. Get this ready to go. Why do you never render your animations? Most of the time, because animators don't need to render their animations. Like if you're doing a demo reel or something, then it makes sense, but or like a project, but most of the time, it's not necessary. The animation just gets passed down the pipeline, so play blasts are fine. All right, I'm just gonna do. Excuse me while I hit record on a few things. Record my camera and record my screen. In case we want to turn this into a video, we can do that. Hey, Chris. Thoughts on scene sketch? I love it. Do you ever counter animate the world node backwards so that you animate in place but actually move their space? I've never really done that. I've thought about it, but the problem I run into is, and you'd probably be, this is actually, I'd love to talk to you about this, but you probably have so many better workflows for me. I find that when I do a cycle, if I do a walk cycle, I actually do it, I think I do it wrong. Because if I were to do, you know, like if I were to animate the character in place and then let's just say move the character root forward or move the world backwards or something, I find that it's not linear. I do something weird with the feet where it has this kind of jittery jolt to it. Like I can't just say like forward and then the constant and then it just goes procedurally. Like I have to kind of baby it and then loop that. So I think I do my cycles wrong. I'm doing something wrong in that process. I don't know. I need to do more cycles. But I want to see your workflow more. Also, hi. How's it going, dude? What's up, Jen? What's up, Noelia? Please make a video on animation layers. I have one kind of on animation layers. The video title is like the secret workflow something something. I have a video on it. Yes, please. Yes, call me out if you see it. So let's see. It's been a while. Let's try this. I'm always afraid when I start animating on stream. I'm like, oh, it's been a while since I've animated. What if I've forgotten everything? What if it's all a lie and I know nothing? All right, to set up my scene, I'm just gonna make this this block a reference object so I can't accidentally select it. Pro tip for Maya users, Blender users, you can just do that thing in the top right outliner where you toggle the selectability. Same thing. Don't want to grab that. Now, if I were doing a simple thing, I could do an orthographic, but I'm gonna just stick here for the moment. All right, let's do it. Oh, 1 second before I jump too heavily in, let me just make sure my Animbot license is working. Sometimes it complains. It looks like it's fine. All right. So my setup process, at least for the moment, looks like this. I'm gonna go ahead and set the character in more of a default state. And what I'll do, actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use Animbot to make this easier on myself. So I'm gonna just grab control and there we go. I'm gonna bring up the Animbot search and I'm gonna do select rig controls. That grabs everything. If it works, is there a reason that didn't work? Try that again. Select rig controls. I'm like looking around to see if something's happening. What's going on? Hang on a second. Huh, that's really weird. Give me a second to troubleshoot. Anybody know why that's not working? Very strange. Just make sure my Animbot is licensed properly. Yeah, it's working. Hold on. All right, 1 second, everybody. I'm going to... All right. To the person who's spamming, see ya. All right. Let's see. Back what I was doing. Oh, let me make sure actually that it's properly loaded. I think it is. Very anticlimactic to like start working and then be like, oh, nothing's working. That's very weird. Does anyone know why I'm not able to do that? What does the snap option do? I'll show you in a bit. Actually, I have a whole video on Animbot in case that's helpful. I don't understand why I'm having issues. Let me restart it. Restart Animbot, maybe that'll help. Do animators usually take acting classes? Yeah, that's a thing you can totally do. That's a really good thing to do, actually. That's essentially what we're doing. How weird, it's not letting me do it. I don't understand why. I'm having issues. What this is supposed to do is just grab all the rig controls. It's not doing it. Kind of not fun. Weird. Alright, well. I'll go ahead and just try this. Okay, well, that one command isn't working, but the rest seems to be working fine. Very weird. Oh well, we're gonna move on. That's another thing, is when you're animating, like, you can waste a lot of time trying to troubleshoot things that don't matter that much. Like, that's not that big of a deal. Yeah, exactly. What Chris said, like, this is a good example of why we shouldn't be dependent on fancy tools. Sometimes you have to go old school. And when something goes wrong, give yourself 2-3 minutes to like see if you can figure it out, and if you can't, move on. I could sit here for the next 20 minutes trying to troubleshoot, Google, reinstall, update, and that's time I'm not working. So I'm just gonna say, oh well, and move on. Because you should be able to do everything here on your own if you have to. Let me move my little floor mat. All right. You plan on making a tutorial for CFX for the Andy Dream scene? I don't plan on making a tutorial for that. That's a good idea though. But I would recommend checking out, oh, who is it? Oh, it's Josh Sobel. Josh Sobel just launched his new thing. It's for Rigging Awesome Studios, I think it is, because it's like rigging for Rigging Awesome. He has a Gumroad course on CFX. He has like videos on, because he was a CFX artist at Dreamworks. He has some really cool stuff for that. So I would check that out if you're interested in the CFX stuff. Post to shelf. I don't think I know that script. I need to look into that. I need to write that down so I don't forget. That's, well, I don't have a way to write it down. Remind me later. All right, let's get into it. I'm wasting time. We've got what? Just under an hour before we move to Twitch. So let's just do it. I'm gonna go ahead and, so there's so many, okay, so there's so many ways to do a walk cycle, and there's no one right way. And now I'm like second guessing all the ways. I'm like, which way do I want to do it? Normally what I do is I limit my timeline to however many frames, or like whatever if I'm like, I'm gonna do a 17 frame walk cycle. I can type. And what I would do is I'd do contact, and then passing in the middle, and I would like block out all the poses. But if we're gonna do a character walking forward, then maybe what I'll do, I'll try to set the speed of the character. Let's just go for it. It's been a while since I've done this. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just set the speed of the character. I've got my graph editor. Is that in the right spot? Yeah, that's good. You can see it. Here, let me go over the graphic just to make this easy to see. All right, so here's my character. Here we go. I key my character, and by frame 50, I guess I'll do all of it. By frame 50, I'll bring the character, oops. There. So we've got easing, don't want that. Let's just go ahead and turn, man, I need to adjust this. You know what, I'm gonna put this at the bottom. Oh, I can't put it at the bottom, I'm in the way. Shoot, that's why I did that. Sorry, 1 second. It's hard because I usually like to put my graph editor somewhere else, but because I'm streaming, I want to make sure that I'm not blocking your guys' view of stuff. Like, you can't see the timeline right now either. You know what I'll do? You know what, I guess what I'll do, I'll put the graph editor on the right. Because that, to me, is the most important thing I'm going to be doing for a little bit. That way, if you can't see the like what keys I'm on, you can at least see it over here. How about that? Is that better? Do I know how to change the Anibot layout? Yes. If you right click in the Anibot like area, there's all these different like workspace options, and you can customize it. But yeah, you can mess with it there if you want to change it. Oh, Evolver Interactive. $10 super chat. Thank you. Great work. Love your video formats. Keep it up. Happy New Year's. Thank you so much. Happy New Year's. I'm glad you like the videos. I appreciate it. Thank you. Are you starting with step curves? I don't know yet. I don't think so. For a walk cycle. Here's what I'm going to do. I need to adjust my hotkeys. I'm expanding my graph editor just so I can make sure I can see the buttons I want to be hitting. Right here, these buttons here, this is what I'm looking for. I do not make my own character models, no. I'm not good at that. These buttons I want to have access to, because if I want to change it to stepped, if I want to change it to spline, or if I want to change it to linear, I want to be able to just hit that, so bam. So I'll set it to linear, and we'll just cycle it, so. Oops, sorry. You can see the spacing difference. The body is linear and the feet are easing. If you're like, what the heck does that mean? Look at the graph. See how one of them is super straight? Super linear, that's the body. It doesn't change, it just moves constantly. The feet, they ease out, speed up, and ease down. Or whatever. Ease out, speed, ease in. Yeah. So I want them all to be linear. Just for now. Like, do I like that speed? I don't know. Let's just go for it. Let's not overthink it. Now, technically, the feet, I'm not actually going to want to do all this stuff. So I'm actually just going to delete the feet. Or you know what I'll do? I will, Oh, that's right, the new button. I can do that. There, I'm actually going to lock the feet. Kind of. Kind of. For now, I'm just gonna not worry too much about it. Oh, it's really hot. I think the heater's on. I hate it. I hate the heater. Excuse me for a second. I have to turn the heater off. I'm dying. This is horrible. I think it's automatic. Ugh. There we go. Ugh. That was awful. The air conditioning doesn't really work in my office, so I have the window open, where it's nice and cold, but the heat likes to work just fine. Ugh. No circulation in this room. All right. Anyways, sorry. I've done nothing. This is like 20 minutes. Yeah, exactly. Done nothing. let's just do it. So, move the character, and let's set up an initial contact pose. Let's start with this foot, just because I said so. And I'm just gonna block it out, just something super simple. Let's go ahead and get the foot roll. Foot roll. So something with the, when you're posing out your walk, one thing that you shouldn't do. Oh, wait, something happening? My internet? Hold on a second. The stream is buffering. Let me look at the stats. Hang on a second. Oh, excuse me for a second. Let me just check. Lagging. Excuse me for 1 second. Let me take a look. Sorry, everybody. I'm not seeing an issue on my end. I think it is my internet. All right, hang on a second. It's okay now? Let me just confirm. That's very weird. Let me make sure I'm hardlined in. Yeah, I'm hardlined in. Live. You guys say it's fine now. I still see an error on my side. It's weird. OBS is not having a problem. My computer is doing fine. It's sending everything without any drops, but the internet must have an issue because YouTube... Oh, no, it's back now. Okay. Yeah, looks like my internet was weak for a minute there because YouTube wasn't receiving the stream. Thank you for sticking through that. Sorry. I don't know what happened, but I guess we made it through. Thank you for the heads up, everybody. I appreciate it. All right, let me just get this out of my way. Okay. So, what I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by the internet. Or was it the internet? All right, here's what we're gonna do. When you are posing your character, don't just leave them straight up. No one walks like that. Make sure you have them lean forward. If you're running, usually you're like, the whole thing about locomotion, walking, running, moving in any way, is that you are putting yourself off balance. That is how you can get your feet out from under you. If you have all your weight on one foot, if you stand on one leg, you can't do anything. You can't move your foot. You can't, you have to jump or something, but you can't actually do anything. So, in the same way, like if you have to be moving your feet, you have to be getting the weight off of that foot so you can lift it up. And then you can't really put it anywhere if you're standing on one foot because you're stable. So you have to lean so that you fall so that you can place your foot. Walking, running, or just falling with style. So, make sure you add a little bit of that off balance to your character. All right, so I'll just do this as a, oops. Actually, I won't do all that right now. I'll just do the basics. So right now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna set a main initial pose. And actually, you know what else I can do? Let me try something else. I never do this. I never do this, but I should do this more often. I should try this. Let's give this a shot. You know how people always tell you about that workflow where it's like, you can hide parts of the character? I never do that. Let's try it. That's the best thing you ever did. What'd I do? I start AM on Tuesday and I'm kind of scared. That's super exciting. Congratulations. The best thing you can do is just really put in the time, hold yourself accountable, talk to your classmates, try to make friends, and it doesn't just have to be your classmates in your class. Make friends with people around the community, participate in the events, go to the Pratt Bros streams, like, be a part of the community. That's the best part about AM is the community. And, you know, really give it your all. What are we gonna do? Let's just do this. Let's just take the character here. And let's just imagine, actually, you know what I'm gonna do? This does not look like a walk because he's like floating, right? So what I'll do is I'm just going to imagine, here, let me open this tool. I'm just going to imagine, I'm trying to give you a lot of different like tools and like things to try all in one. This is XP Pen, this thing that I'm moving around right now. It's not part of Maya. It's just a drawing tool. You don't want your character just to move across the screen. Hey, hang on. There. You don't want your character just to move across the screen. You want your character to have a little bit of a bounce. Right? You want them to have an up and a down. They move, they walk. Oh, shoot. Hey, Usman, how's it going, man? Oh, shoot. Thank you for the 10. Is that pounds? That's pounds, right? Thank you for that. Great videos to Wade. Keep up the awesome work, inspiring stuff. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, dude. This is a talented animator right here. This guy's awesome. Dude, your work, every time you post stuff, I'm just like, more breakdowns, more work. Usman has been making some crazy stuff for years. AM, right? That's where we met? Animation Mentor? I think. I'm starting to like forget like, I thought so, because like it was CTN, right? That we were like talking to CTN at the AM booth, I think. Now I'm starting to get like fuzzy between the events and like, oh, like it was Animation Mentor, not Anim Collaborative, and not this, but yeah. Okay. Dude, if you want to like do an interview at some point, let me know. I would love to. Graduation, that's the event. If you ever want to like do an interview or something, or share some tips or tricks or things, please let me know. You have a gift, my friend. You're so good. Every time I saw your stuff, I was like, dang, I need to work harder. All right. So I'm gonna use that color. That's easier to see on screen. The green was a little hard to see. So the idea is not that you have to figure out exactly where the bumps are on the up and down, but like you should know that your character is gonna be bouncing around. So when you play it and you take away the character parts and he just floats, you know, let's say boom, 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 boom. I don't know. So I'm just playing around here. So let's try it. Let's just try something. Let's go ahead and move the character up a little bit. Actually, not too much. Oh, that's a little lot. And we'll move the character up a bit. And move the character down a bit. And let's just repeat that. Now, I'm going to do it super like mathematically just to see what happens. If I just go, that's 20. That's 20. Normally you wouldn't, like, don't feel like you need to do this mathematically. I'm just trying to do this to see if, like, to see what happens. So technically this would be the number that we have there and there. So that's actually that one. And that one is that one. All right. So just for argument's sake, right? Okay, that's way too ghostly. See how much he feels like a ghost now? Ooh. This is too low of a frequency. Now, there are some tricks you can use with cycles. Everyone who posts work online makes you feel lazy. Same, and I post work online. Well, I guess I post videos, but I feel that. Every time people are like, oh, here's my 1 hour thing that I did today, and it's like this great thing. It's like, oh my God. So trying out a few different techniques. You can do all kinds of stuff. Like you could technically, you know, up, down, like you could, hypothetically, something you could do if you wanted to. If I deleted this key and this key, and I think technically I could delete this key, these keys. If I just had like one little thing, hypothetically, I don't know if this is the best way to do this, but just like just to play around with the idea and to show you some cool little things, I could do an infinity cycle each direction. Because now what I can do, instead of having to redo all the keys just for fun, if I'm like, I wanted to go higher, I could just adjust those keys and it does it for everything versus having a whole bunch of keys to try and mess with and trying to keep the cycle point. So if this is too much, maybe what I'll do, oops. If I do that, scale it down. You know, now he feels less ghosty. He doesn't feel like he's floating through the scene slowly. It could feel like he's kind of just bouncing because he's walking or something. Who knows? But just as a fun attempt, you know, just as a fun thing to try, you know, as a workflow. This is something that, like, don't feel like you have to have the right workflow every time. Like, I don't even know if this is going to work. I've never done a walking through space walk cycle using this workflow where I take 3 keys and try to cycle it to figure out what I want. I've never done this. I've used this tool for other stuff. But in this particular case, I'm doing it here live in front of an audience where hopefully this is a helpful thing to be like, look, let's try this. Let's see if it works. The other thing that's the benefit is I'm not on a deadline right now. You know, like I don't have to have this to my supervisor by 11 type thing, you know? Oh, I missed Usman's reply. Pretty cool when I get time. Enter my first feature now. Dude, congrats. First feature. I don't imagine you can share what it is. But that's super exciting. Congratulations. Yeah, when you get time, let me know. I hear that. Let's see. Is Animation Mentor good? I've heard a bunch of bad things about it. Really? I haven't heard that many bad things. I know it's more pricey than other schools, but that's the only thing I know that's kind of the hurdle. Yeah, I think Animation Mentor is a fantastic school. I think it's a great place to learn animation. This is their rig. We're using the Animation Mentor Stewart rig, which is free to download. You can go grab this online right now. But yeah, I think it's a great school. And if you go there, tell them I sent you. But yeah, I think it's a great school. They have a fantastic community, and the mentors are super talented, as with a lot of the schools. The rigs and assets you get are great. The staff themselves, they're fantastic. They care a lot. I think the best thing about it is the community. I think that's the main thing Animation Mentor gives you. How to make a contract with an employer. Your employer will probably do it, but you should probably get a lawyer. What was that thing that was flowing? Oh, the splines? Those are my splines. I made those. Okay, so we have this, right? This up and down. And if I wanted to adjust it, if I wanted to have a more aggressive up and down, I could do that. I could just change this, right? And then he goes higher, which I don't think we want. I can keep it subtle. Let's see, I could lower him a bit. Now, something I might want to do is adjust the timing of it, because right now it's very even. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. We might have to have like more of a sag. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, right? Like a little bit, I don't know, more of a sharp, I don't know, we might want to do things like that. So just to try it out, let's do that. I don't know. I honestly don't know what I'm going to want. So let's just move forward with this and see what happens. But this is how you can get different like feelings out of your walk. Like if you have like if I were to do this and really like change this up so it's like he comes down really quickly and he stays down for a long time. His speed is throwing it off a little bit. Actually, you know what I could do? I'll do this. The up and down of your character is going to change a lot of the feeling. So if I just do this, it's like, what is this character like? The loop isn't perfect, but it's like, this could be like a really like, it could be like a zombie. Like he spends a lot of his time down. Like this could be the zombie walk, you know? Or if I want someone who's like really peppy, it's like, haha, I'm skipping. Then I can reverse it. And I could maybe say that, maybe, let's see. Now it's very floaty. It's haha, and down and up, down up, down up, down up, right? You can do different feelings of the character. You can do different feelings of the character by the different timing of the ups and downs. It doesn't have to just be up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, great. It doesn't have to be the even on all parts. The vanilla default basic walk usually is, because it's easier to learn that way. But this is one of the things where you can adjust how the character feels. This feels very light because the character floats and bounces back up into the air. Where a second ago we had this thing where it like dragged against the bottom. It like came down hard and then built back up slowly over time. And this feels much more like a zombie trudging through the swamp kind of thing, you know? So you can adjust the feeling this way. And this is just one of many things you can do, but that's just a fun little example that I don't think I've ever talked about before. So, bam, first time for everything. Actually, yeah, I want that. Let's move this back over here. And like this is a little too aggressive. Like this is, the character's like popping up into the air, and that's because my tangent handles are all screwed up, so I gotta be careful there. So this just feels very like dun 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 dun. It's a little boring. So what I'm gonna do, I don't know what I'm gonna do. What do I wanna do? I don't know. I don't know. So right now I'm literally just staring, like I'm doing one thing. But this one thing, like imagine for a second, the entire character were visible. If the whole character were visible right now, and he was moving through space because I hadn't muted the control. You know, I would then have to try and visualize all that with all this extra stuff happening. There's a lot more to get distracted by. I'd be like, oh, let me do the feet, let me do the arms, and I would spend all this time, and it's not that it's a bad thing, it's just when I don't know what I want, if I don't know what I want, I don't want to be like trying to fix the arms and trying to fix the legs and trying to deal with the posing of the shoulders when I'm just trying to figure out like the up and down. So just like limit the amount of stuff I have to worry about. Just turn off what you don't need. I literally don't need any of the appendages, and I certainly don't need the character floating away from my camera view, and I don't need to parent a camera to the character or something weird like that. I'll just mute that control. Then I can just focus and say, what do I want this character to feel like? Just the up and down, not even all these other controls, just the up and down. What do I want? Do I like that? Do I not like that? What happens if I shift this to the left? He spends a heavier fall, more time building up. If I drag this to the right, it pops up into the air, floats back down. Somewhere in the middle. A little bit more optimistic, a little bit on the other side. A little bit more marching, you know? You can kind of play around. Everyone takes, not that like it's not a serious job, but everyone takes animation so seriously. Like, what's the right way to do it? What's the method? Like, what's the technique, the formula? What's like the thing, right? Everyone's so worried about finding like the method and the way to do it. But it's a creative craft, you know, it's a creative pursuit. And so you should be creative with your process. Be willing to just kind of try stuff and be like, what happens if I go to the left? What happens if I go to the right? And it doesn't have to be scary, you know? Because sometimes you come up with ideas. You're like, what happens if I bring this really low? That's going to be a really interesting walk. And you can kind of visualize in your head, like, what would this look like if he had legs right now? What would he be doing if he were like walking around? Like, that's interesting. What if I combine them? Let me actually back this up a tiny bit so I can... Like, this kind of feels like a sneak. Like, maybe he's like, up, down, right? Like, maybe there's a little bit of like a sneaking happening, and it's, you know, so you can play with it. Anyway, I think you get my point. Let's see, I'm aiming for approximately here-ish, I think. And I think I want to give him... Well, that needs to come way back up. It's like, do I want him to feel heavy? Or do I want him to feel light? I think I want him to feel heavy. A little bit more time at the bottom. Let me check the chat really quick. Also, just as a quick reminder for everyone who's here, I'm going to keep saying it, and we're almost at the time where I don't need to say it anymore. In about 20-25 minutes or so, we're going to be moving over to Twitch as usual. I stream like this twice a week on Twitch, so if you're enjoying this, make sure you follow on Twitch, link below. But the rest of the 24-hour stream, we have about 22 hours left in the stream. We have lots of stuff to do today. A lot of this we're going to be doing over on Twitch, so just a heads up. And if you're enjoying this, if you're like, wow, this was a useful video so far, which like I can understand if you're like, you've done nothing. I get it. But if you are wanting to find this again later, grab the URL, bookmark this page. It'll be unlisted after the 24 hours. You won't be able to find this video again. But if you have the link, you can still access it. These variations he's showing are ultimately to define the personality of the character, not just physical motion. Brawl and Sarfang are both orcs, but I think their walks very different because of their different personalities. Yes. What he said. I love when there's other animators in the chat who can like share nuggets of information, because it makes it feel like my stream's a lot more valuable to me. I'm like, oh good, someone's actually saying good things in the chat, because sometimes I have my moments, and sometimes I spend 20 minutes making 2 keys and reiterating the same point 8 times. So, can I make a video about 4-leg animation? I could share some stuff about it. I haven't done a lot of quadruped work. It's not something I'm super confident in, because I don't do it. I've never done it professionally, but I've got some stuff that I learned that I could probably share. I'd probably be better off interviewing someone who does a lot of that work though. But yeah, I could definitely, I'll keep that in mind as something to bring in soon. Playlist, this is Stream Beats. If you go to my Twitch channel and type in !music, it will kick out a command that gives you all my music. Do you have an issue with the Wacom pen right-click in Maya 2020? No, not that I'm aware of. You do need to press and hold sometimes, but no, I don't have any issues. Are you doing the 24 hours here or some on Twitch? We will be doing another 20 minutes or so here on YouTube. The rest is on Twitch. Okay. I guess that's fine. No, I can't decide what I want. I should have decided this earlier. It's fine. It doesn't matter. We got to get to the other stuff. There, that's what I want. All right. So now that I have that, done, what I'll do is I will unmute the Z. Now he walks, right? And the other thing too is, in the same way, like I can literally adjust the speed. If I'm like, what if he's going too slow? I can speed him up, which I'm probably not gonna do, but I could. And I could do the same thing. I should probably go, what is it? Where am I looking? Curves, pre and post, there it is. Constant, no, not constant. Linear. Linear. Am I doing something wrong? There. Those buttons are really far over, so I have to drag this out to get to them. Okay, so now I've got the same kind of thing. So if I adjust this, let me do this. 13. 13. All right. So if I want to adjust the speed, that's the speed of the character, but I can also do the same thing. I could make a thing here. But I have to be careful because I have to keep these linear. But now he's much slower, which maybe could work if he's like an old man and he's like kind of just pittering along. Or if I wanted to like just rush along, he's gonna feel like a ghost again because now he's just gonna kind of glide across the ground. So I have to strike a balance. Oops. There. Maybe I'll slow him down a little bit. There. So just, you know, you can mess with things. It's easier to make these changes early, if you can, than when you have a lot of stuff to move around. Have I watched Soul? Yes, I watched Soul last night. Can't wait for Harris's new music. Yes, Harris's new music in February. I'm so excited for the rock album. Where do you get your models? This model, this rig came from Animation Mentor. It's free. You can go download it from their website. You looking terrible sleepy. That's a very rude thing to say. Also, I've been awake for like 3 hours, so I'm feeling great. I'm not sleepy. I'm well rested. That's just mean.
I don't want that.
We don't want that. Let's see. Anyway, let's move on. Let's get back to business here. So let's just pop all this back in. Here's what I'll do. Next key, I will put that foot roll down. Bam, bam. Boom, boom. Oh, I should make these. Stupid graph editor. All right. What I'll do. That didn't work at all, did it? There. I'm keeping the knees short forward. All right. So I'll do my just basic pose here that we have, and then I'll move forward one frame, just get that foot down. And I'm just gonna just block in the overall feet stuff. Here, and I might actually, you know what I should probably do? Not worry about the foot roll stuff. That's what I'll do. I will not worry about the foot dropping down, because I'm probably gonna move all this. And I don't wanna have to deal with it. So what I'll do instead is this. I will key the foot in its spot. So this front foot is going to stay in that spot boop, 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 until there. And in my case, that's about 13 frames. And I can change this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go another 13 frames. And I'm going to put it in its new spot. So it stays in place and then it's allowed to move. But what I'm going to do as well is say that by the time that foot's there, this foot's here. Now this I'm not doing very mathematically or like necessarily correct. I'm just saying that that foot has to be locked. Now that foot has to be locked until here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this to there. See how I'm just telling like each foot when it can and can't leave? And then they go back to their old spot, so I gotta keep going. So now this foot's stuck in place for a while. Right? That foot goes forward. Now in the same way, hypothetically, like, this is where my earlier workflow kind of starts to fall apart. Because if I wanted to do everything procedurally and just do like, oh, I'll just do like one footstep and then offset cycle it, that means I'm gonna have to be really, really precise about it. and hope that the cycle doesn't last that long. Because if I'm like, let me show you where this falls apart and why. If I take this foot, his left foot, the blue foot, if I take this foot and I tell it to be like, I don't know, here. Let me show you where the problem comes into place. If I delete, let's see. Let me buffer curve snapshot, just so I can come back to this. If I delete that, and I tell this foot motion I've done to cycle. See this? See how it has this blue line? It's gonna just repeat its process, you know? The problem with doing this is, didn't put that there. The problem with doing that is it works great for a while. It's like, oh, look at that. The foot is looping. And ignore the red one. The red one's not what we're concerned about. In fact, let me just turn that off so we don't get confused by it. If it's like, okay, that foot, bum, 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 like there it is. It's kind of looping, great. But if I extend this out, will it actually work over the long term? It probably won't. Look it. The foot is now trailing behind him farther and farther. See that? As we get really far over here, each time the foot makes a new step, it's like step, step. See how it's behind him now? Well, that means I need to go back into this foot and I need to adjust it and say, oh, well, actually, it wasn't making it far enough. So now I'll adjust my keys. And now it's like, oh, there it goes. Now it steps forward. Like, oh, not quite far enough. And you're dealing with like, not an exponential growth or anything, but it's like this change over time. You're no longer worried about like, how does this foot look? Because look at that. Look how far out that foot goes. What if I don't want that? But this is the problem with that procedural workflow, is that over time, something that's just a tiny bit off, that doesn't really matter, as you repeat each cycle, that amount grows each time you cycle it. And so eventually it becomes such a big problem that it may not have been worth doing in the first place. So it's a great workflow for trying things out in the beginning with few keys like I was doing on the body. But if you're doing the feet, this is where you have to make sure your cycle is done properly. It's not that this is a bad thing to do, it's just that you have to do it correctly. Otherwise you will struggle down the line, you know what I mean? So that's a thing. So heads up. There's different kind of byproducts of all kinds of different workflows. So you have to play around with stuff and try things and consider how it works. Anyway, let's just kind of blast through this because I'm like out of time. We're going over to Twitch in a minute. So, or not like in 1 minute, but we're going over to Twitch very shortly. So let me go ahead and just turn off that. Let me put this back to its buffer curve snapshot. Okay. Let's see, 3, 4, 52. So, whoops, we don't want all that. Let's put this down to there. So the idea here is that we're just getting the basics. And again, anything that's distracting, take it out. The arms, we don't need them yet. Like, do we like this? Clearly it's not there yet. It's you know, we're not quite there. If your root and feet have the exact same TZ change from first to last frame, it should loop in. Okay, see, there's the answer to that question. If you are going to do that, I hadn't even thought about that. That makes, yeah. When you said that, I was like, yeah, I knew that. I'm like, did I know that? I knew it once. Apparently I've forgotten it, because yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, if your root and feet have the exact same TZ change, so in that whole thing of like, when you're playing around and you solve one of them, you're gonna use that for the other one. So if you solve the forward speed of your character, you've like played around with it, the Z here, and you're like, yeah, that's what I want, you're gonna use that answer for the feet. Which actually, maybe I should just do that. Make that a even 90. Let's do that. Why not? Why not? So we'll take this, we'll make this 45. That's easier math. 13 frames later. So what's the change? It's over 13 frames, a change of 90 units. So here to here, what I can do, so if this were actually still the same number, so if this were still here at 45, you can do, what is it? It's plus equals 90 and it'll add 90. Yeah. There's math expressions you can do inside the channel box. So that'll add 135, or it'll change it to 135 for here. Oh wait, hold on. I'm confused. Okay, so that's the 90. But then that's another 90. My bad. Add another 90. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, but that's a 13. Ah, I'm doing my math wrong. That's a 12 frame change. Means that's a 24 frame change. Oh, this is probably where my cycles go wrong. I'm guessing, Chris, huh? I just did the thing from 1 to 13, that's 13 frames. Like that's 12 frames. That's 12 frames of change, not 13 frames of change, which is why this pose looks slightly different than this pose, I think. Unless it doesn't. I don't know, I might be overthinking it now, but I'm pretty sure, no, that looks, I think I'm doing it slightly wrong. What'd I do? Linear tangent. See, this is both the fun and the scary part of live streams, because it's like there's some stuff I'm good at, and there's stuff that I can yeah, let me teach this and show it. And then there's stuff where I'm like, I'm gonna try something, and of course there's parts that I'm not very good at, or maybe stuff that I find that I don't know, or things that I thought I knew but I don't know them all that well, and whatever. This is why this happens in live streams and not in videos. I usually wait to do a video until I know more on a topic. This is why you haven't seen me do a walk cycle video, because there's so much that I forget, or that I don't know, or that I'm not super comfortable making the statement of how I think it should be done. Because here I am trying to do a walk cycle of all things, and finding places to struggle, because walk cycles are hard. Walk cycles are, I feel like they're hard for everybody. Most people would agree with that. Some easier and harder than others, but in my case, I can do my walk cycle where I do the same thing I always do just fine, not that bad. Try something new, however, ugh. But that's the fun part, you know? That's the fun part. And the nice thing about this is that when I struggle, there's people in the chat to help me. So thank you. Let's see. Oh, by the way, we are going to be moving over to Twitch in 5 to 10 minutes. I wanted to make some serious progress on this, but here we are. It is what it is. That's a 12 frame difference. That's a 13 frame difference. I've done this slightly wrong. Yeah, so this actually needs to be here. And this is back 2. No, what? Can't math right now. 12, 10, 1, 2, and then 10. So that one. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and then 50 was right. I mean, close to whatever. Whatever. All right. Here I am struggling to do basic math. So here's an interesting thing. Here's something I'm thinking of right now. I'm like trying to go back in my head because now I'm like, oh yeah, I should do the real math. I remember as a student, an animation mentor, I remember in class 1 doing a walk cycle and doing it very mathematically, doing that thing where I would measure the distance and the time between each change, and I would make sure it was perfect and procedural so that I could loop it and things. I remember doing that. And at the time, I had other problems. I had posing issues and weight problems. Like I had all kinds of other issues, but I remember doing that. But for some reason, I have it in my head that like my mentor told me like not to do that. And I'm trying to remember now like why that was. Maybe it was like you're focused on the wrong thing or you're doing other things wrong. Like who knows? Or maybe it was just like, oh, you're not supposed to do that. It should be custom to the shot, not this procedural thing. I don't remember. And now I'm wondering, now I'm like trying to figure out like why did I stop doing that? Because I did that for a while and then I stopped doing that and I don't remember why that happened. Must have been a workflow change or something, but I don't know. Sometimes you just do things or not do things because you think you, whatever, I don't know. Well, I'm gonna keep messing with this, but we're gonna do it on Twitch. We've got okay, let me give you a quick rundown of the agenda for today, / tonight, / tomorrow. Here's the plan. Actually, let me tell these things to stop recording. There we go. Okay. Started following you recently? You're a good dude. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I try. Oh, you guys know each other? Chris and Ori know each other? That's cool. I love when people like find each other in the chat, like, oh, hey, like, oh. Especially, like, it's cool when it's like people I recognize from like all being a part of the live streams and they know each other because of the live streams. And then when the people like know each other separately, I find that crazy. Like, oh, wow. People here who like actually know each other. Like, it's wild. All right, so here's the plan, everybody. Here's the plan. We are 5 seconds. It is 22 hours away from the final. We're 2 hours in. We've got 22 hours left in the stream. We have lots to do. So here's the plan. I am going to leave this as is. We're going to keep working on it. We've got lots to do. We've got this walk cycle that someone requested we do, so we're doing that. But we're going to do some other stuff. I want to do some lip sync today. I find the lip sync stuff so much fun. Like I feel so much more comfortable doing lip sync and like that kind of stuff than I am doing like walk cycles. Because there's so many ways to do a walk cycle. And there's also different workflows for the I don't know. It's fun. So we have lots of stuff in store for this stream. We have some exercises like this. We have all kinds of different things to do. That's all I'm trying to say. We have lots to do, lots of fun stuff. So here's the plan. We are going to move over to Twitch now. So I'm going to give you all a minute. Make sure you go down in the description and click the Twitch link. Feel free to also follow my other links that are down there as well and other tabs. Fun. But everyone head over to Twitch, hit the follow button, and hang out. It's going to take a second. I just want to give you the heads up that when I stop the stream on YouTube, I have to change a few things in my OBS settings to reset things over to Twitch. Make sure everything's working for that. It's not a big change, but it'll take me like a minute or two. So there will be a little break where you're like, where is he? He's not live on YouTube. He's not live on Twitch. And people always kind of like leave or freak out in that moment. So I just want to give you the heads up that that's going to happen. So get your Twitch ready. I'm going to just briefly make sure there's nothing blinking red or freaking out. I think we're good. I'm going to close my YouTube chat officially. And I'm going to come to my YouTube page. I'm going to end the YouTube stream. So I'll see you all on Twitch. We've got 22 hours more to go. All right. See you there.